Addressing global warming requires international cooperation and coordination. What challenges exist in reaching global agreements on climate change, and how can countries work together to implement effective solutions? Addressing global warming necessitates international cooperation and coordination. However, achieving global agreements on climate change faces several challenges, and countries must work together to implement effective solutions. One major challenge in reaching global agreements on climate change is the diversity of interests and priorities among nations. Developed countries may prioritize reducing greenhouse gas emissions, while developing nations may prioritize economic growth to alleviate poverty. Bridging these divergent interests requires extensive negotiations and compromises. Another challenge is the lack of enforcement mechanisms for international climate agreements. Even if countries agree to specific emission reduction targets, there may be limited mechanisms to ensure compliance. Without robust enforcement mechanisms, some countries may fail to fulfill their commitments, undermining the effectiveness of global agreements. Additionally, geopolitical tensions and competition can hinder cooperation on climate change. Countries may be reluctant to commit to emissions reductions if they perceive it as compromising their economic competitiveness or national security. Overcoming these geopolitical barriers requires building trust, fostering dialogue, and finding mutually beneficial solutions. Furthermore, disparities in financial resources pose a challenge to global climate action. Developing countries often lack the financial resources and technological capabilities to transition to low-carbon economies and adapt to the impacts of climate change. Addressing this challenge requires developed nations to provide financial assistance and technology transfer to support climate mitigation and adaptation efforts in developing countries. Despite these challenges, countries can work together to implement effective solutions to address global warming. International agreements such as the Paris Agreement provide a framework for countries to set emission reduction targets and take collective action. Enhanced transparency and accountability mechanisms can help ensure that countries fulfill their commitments and track progress towards climate goals. Furthermore, cooperation on technology transfer and capacity building can help bridge the gap between developed and developing countries. By sharing knowledge, expertise, and resources, countries can accelerate the deployment of renewable energy technologies and build resilience to climate impacts. In conclusion, addressing global warming requires overcoming various challenges, including diverse interests, limited enforcement mechanisms, geopolitical tensions, and financial disparities. However, through international cooperation, dialogue, and collective action, countries can work together to implement effective solutions and mitigate the impacts of climate change. If you liked this video and found it helpful, please hit the thumbs up button to help this channel grow. For additional essays with 7+ band score, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. We have over 100 essays ranging across various categories and are continuously adding new essays every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.